Good times, great oldies, classic gold. The Times there, and Grace. Before that, it was Man for Man, and do-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. You know, Dave, I was thinking you've had some fabulous guests on your program this year, haven't you?
Yes, I have, actually. I've been very intrigued by the sort of people we managed to get for the show. One of them, I have to say, is one of my faves, and it's Michael Crawford. We had a good laugh together as well, and I did start the conversation by suggesting to him that I rather admired him for the fact that whilst he was a big star on Broadway now, he'd never actually forgotten his humble beginnings and the way he started.
When you think how hard you work to make a success at something, it's like you suddenly saying, well, I don't want to be known as DLT anymore. I want to just be known as David now, because I'm more serious broadcaster.
Posh Travis.
Yes, yes, Posh Travis, that's it. Well, I look back, and all I ever wanted was to find a successful character. Every time you go into something, you think, when I was making commercials when I was like 14, I thought this is going to be the best Kit Kat commercial there ever was. Of course, it never was, but every job you go into, you're hoping it's going to be really, really good. So when you do find success in the way that we did with Frank Spencer, with Some Mothers, I mean, I celebrated the fact that the fifth repeat the other night got 4.5 million viewers.
Frightening,
on BBC Two, which
Wonderful.
were their best figures for 3 months. So, I mean, I am so proud of that. So I don't want to look back and say, oh, please, I don't really, Dave, I don't want to talk about that. No, I love it, and it makes me laugh too, because it's like watching another person, and I see that some of the things I've completely forgotten about, and I'm grinning now.
Who the hell are you?
I'm Frank Spencer. I'll need a doctor.
You're Frank from across the... A doctor. Are you ill?
No, it's my mother-in-law.
She's not here as well, is she?
No, she's in bed. I sat on her.
Well, there's a couple of things about that period of your life that I think are important to know. First of all, there are different stories about where the character of Frank came from. Some of the stories were that you developed the character almost in No Sex Please, We're British. Other things were that you'd got it from watching somebody out on the street somewhere. What is the truth behind the actual thing, that the switch that came on in your head and said, that's the character I want?
I think it's a combination of all those things. I'd begun to work the character in a way, without the accent, began in the film Apollo Dolly.
Right.
When I started to, I don't know why I did it, but there's that movement he did, rubbing his hand along the side, down the outside of his leg, which I was very heavily, I diverse for a minute, I was very heavily criticized by, what's the woman who used to write in about Whitehouse? Mary Whitehouse.
Yes.
Wrote to the producer and said, I am very, very angry with this character. He's obsessed with his body parts. and I kept thinking, what kind of man must she have gone out with who used to have something on the outside of his leg rather than... And so I just thought about, oh dear. So we wrote back and pointed that out to her, but we didn't hear from her again. She was most probably asking her husband a few questions. Anyway, what was the original question?
I'm the voice.
Oh, no, where did I find him?
I was saying there,
well, I used to rub the outside of my leg. That's where we were. Now,
now you're rich. You've got somebody else to do it for you.
Yes. Oh, this is... I'm crying.
Isn't show business fun, Michael?
Oh, so
get on with it.
So I started rubbing the outside. And I found out years later.
What did you find out?
That apparently that's a pressure point. And for when you're nervous.
Oh.
And I had no idea. Oh dear. So I used that in Hello Dolly. Then I used it in No Sex Please. My whole career has been based around rubbing the outside of my leg. Oh, I only gave it up in Phantom. Oh.
She's a bit upset, see? Because her mother's there. And we've had a bit of trouble. About her husband's python. It was the same when he had his monkeys in the greenhouse. I don't know what they used to get up to in there, but we never had a single cucumber.